Today, I'll be sharing a bit on my journey through the Apache ecosystem, from being a nervous beginner submitting his first pull request to becoming an Apache committer. I'll be sharing some guiding principles I've learned along the way. But more importantly, I will be talking about how the open source landscape is changing in this age of AI. Over the last few years, the AI landscape has changed exponentially. Right now, as I speak, an AI is drafting a pull request, generating tests, and parsing documentation faster than any one of us in this room ever can. This forces us to ask a very uncomfortable question. If a machine can code, what is our value? What is the point of being an open source committer today? Before we ponder on that, I want to take you back to a time long before I became a committer. I was born and brought up in Assam. Back in my engineering days, I had this incredible eagerness to learn everything I could get my hands on. MOCs were new, and I was taking a lot of online courses I found interesting. Even big data was trending, and I remember spending countless hours setting up a single-node Hadoop cluster, as well as running a virtualized version of CDH on my personal laptop. I didn't realize it back then, but I was building the principle that would guide my entire journey. Stay curious. This curiosity eventually landed me at Huawei. Over there, I was tasked with a complex project to redesign their internal secondary indexing solution on top of Apache HBase. As I was deep into this work, I started finding small issues and missing pieces in the core HBase project itself. To fix them, I had to do something that terrified me at that point in time. I had to interact with the open source community. I still remember the mix of excitement and nervousness I felt when I pushed those first few fixes upstream. I was getting my code reviewed by experts in the HBase community. Their rigorous reviews taught me my second principle: listen, learn, adapt. Respecting their feedback helped me see my own blind spots, work on them, and improve. Their encouragement hooked me for life. But getting here wasn't just about writing code. It was about surviving the trenches of enterprise software. When I was at Informatica, we hit a nearly impossible to reproduce bug in our QA environment, causing cascading shutdowns across our HBase region servers. When we finally tracked the bug, I didn't just hotfix the issue. I guided our QA team to deploy Chaos Monkey so we would never encounter anything like this in our production environment. Experiences like that forged my next core principle: aim for bulletproof systems. And a bulletproof system isn't not about being resilient, it is one that is secure by design. You can have the most performant architecture, but if you ignore security, you lose the one thing you can never afford to lose, i.e. user trust. Security is non-negotiable, because our ultimate job is to protect our users and defend the fundamental trust of the open source ecosystem. Fast forward to today, following these principles, I grew from a nervous contributor to a committer, having made several hundred contributions across 5 major Apache projects. As my responsibilities in the project grew, I finally understood the real meaning of Apache's Software Foundation's motto: community over code. Scaling a massive open source project isn't about the architecture. It is about the human token. It is the realization that you can only truly scale these ecosystems through empathy. That is why my first focus as a maintainer has always been cultivating connection. I believe in starting with a smile to encourage nervous contributors. A simple message like, "Great PR," to quick thoughts, can make a contributor's day better than a cold list of reviews. It is also somewhat important to reply in real time. As much as possible, a slow response may quietly kill a newcomer's passion. Over the years, I've reviewed well over 350 pull requests, and that number is very important to me. Because behind every single one of those PRs is a developer, maybe sitting with his laptop somewhere in Assam, feeling just as nervous as I did when submitting my first contribution. But connection alone doesn't scale unless you are actively removing friction. We need to continuously automate routine tasks and clear the path for newcomers. This mindset is exactly why I spent time implementing tools like Spotless across my projects. I didn't do it just for cleaner code. I did it to protect the community, so that when a newcomer submits a pull request, we aren't arguing about spaces and tabs. Instead, we're talking about architecture. We're building a relationship. Which brings us back to that uncomfortable question. If the machine provides the code, what happens to us? Lately, I've been living this shift myself. I've been integrating these models into my daily workflow, and I've realized that AI doesn't have to be a wall. It can be a bridge. Our role is shifting. We aren't just writing lines of code anymore. We are providing the intent and the context. We're moving past the repetitive work to focus on the parts of engineering that actually require a human. Let's look at a prime example of doing this right. Recently, the Apache Airflow community faced a massive challenge. They needed to translate over 560 UI phrases into 8 different languages. If they had handed the job entirely to AI to save time, they would have lost the cultural nuance and the open source spirit. Instead, they used a people-first, AI-assisted approach. They used AI to do the heavy lifting of the initial, repetitive translations. But human contributors took absolute ownership of their native languages. The AI didn't replace the community, it empowered them. By letting the machine handle the boring, repetitive parts, the human contributors suddenly had the time and energy to collaborate, review, and build stronger relationships across borders. The AI provided the raw output, but the human collaboration provided the context and the trust. But as we embrace this new capability, we're starting to see cracks form in our communities. AI is beginning to undermine the very human principles I just talked about. Recently, the Curl project had to end its bug bounty program because it was being drowned in AI slop, hallucinated vulnerability reports generated by LLMs that wasted hours of maintainer time. Even worse, we've seen autonomous AI bots aggressively spam and argue with human maintainers who are just trying to protect good first issues for human learners. Think about that for a second. Pause. If an AI had instantly patched those first few age-based bugs back when I was a nervous beginner at Huawei, I might never have felt the need to submit that pull request. I would have never had my code reviewed by the legends of the community. I would have never learned the empathy required to be a maintainer. The machine would have stolen my path into this community. We're not here to fight AI. We're here to define its boundaries. The question is not, is the machine writing the code? The question is, who is governing the machine and who is accountable for its output? AI provides the velocity, yes, but velocity without a steering wheel is a crash. We are the steering wheel. AI provides the scale. Humans provide the trust. IMO, a new role, is to become code custodians. Just a disclaimer, this isn't an official Apache term. This is just my personal view on where we must go. To be a custodian, we must lead in 4 key ways. Firstly, we must elevate the focus. We let machines handle the boring housekeeping and technical nitpicks so we can spend our human time on what truly matters: deep design and real mentorship. Next, we need to anchor in accountability. The machine can write the patch, but the human must explain the why and take full responsibility for the architectural call. Third, we must protect the human on-ramp. We have to fiercely protect those safe spaces for beginners to learn, fail, and understand how things fit into the big picture. And finally, we must guard the ecosystem. To fight things like AI slop, we have to set clear boundaries. Perhaps even using secondary AI tools as a shield to validate reports before they ever drain a maintainer's time. Our true value is no longer the code we write. It is the community we protect. The Apache motto has never been more relevant than it is right now: community over code. Thank you.